Fillers are an overlooked but essential part of a kitchen remodel and are never given the attention that they need as the support characters to the cabinetry.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
If they're done improperly, they can ruin the look of your kitchen. Not only is there an aesthetic preference for well-done fillers, a poorly done job might have just enough space to invite some critters into the cracks of your cabinets. Today we'll be going over the biggest mistakes that we see between DIYers and professionals. Before we talk about these mistakes, be sure to like the video and subscribe, and share your worst filler stories in the comments down below. Before we go into these mistakes, let's go into what fillers are. Fillers are finished pieces of wood that fit between cabinet faces or walls. They're meant to sit flush with the face frame unless you have an overlay filler. Those should sit flush with your doors and be placed on top of a backer filler. Installation can be pretty simple, since you just need to screw them from the side of the face frame to install them, or directly through the cabinet box if you have full access cabinets. In the case of overlay fillers, install it onto the backer filler. You want it to line up with the depth of the door, as well as the top and bottom lining up with the bottom and top of the door. Now that we know what fillers are, let's get started on mistakes. Number 1. If you're not scribing your fillers to the walls, you're putting a lot of faith in the home builder. As much as walls and floors should be flat, level, and plumb, they never are. So if you have a filler up against the wall, how do we leave no crumbs? Leave no crumbs? How do we leave no gaps? That's where scribing comes in. No, not that kind of scribe. Scribing is simply the process of marking and cutting material to conform to the adjacent wall or floor. So if you want to know how to scribe, first, you measure the widest distance between your wall and cabinet. Then you take a track saw or table saw and cut the filler to that width. And then you trace the contour of the wall directly on the filler by first clamping it to the cabinet and then using a block or compass to trace your line onto the filler. And now you have a line you can cut with a jigsaw. Or you can just belt sand the filler right down to the line. In most cases, you'll have to do both. And just like that, it pops into place and then you can screw it and caulk it. Mistake number 2, your overlay fillers are too close to your doors. You need enough clearance for the door to comfortably open and close without rubbing. You're supposed to leave at least a little space between the filler and the door, where the door rubs against the filler. Maybe you're into the distressed look. And this is one DIY hack to get there, but if that's not what you're going for, this mistake will cost you a new door and a filler, or at least a trip to the finisher. So good luck with that. Most gaps for overlay fillers are about 1/8 of an inch. The gap between your filler and your door should be the same as the gaps between your doors. Mistake number 3, continuing with the overlay fillers. If some of you spent half the time learning what flush was outside the casino, you'd have much nicer kitchens, and maybe a better return on investment than your poker winnings.
What did it cost?
Everything.
If you have overlay fillers, add a small spacer and keep them flush with the doors. If you already have everything installed, then you can adjust the doors to match the fillers. Here's a video showing you exactly how to do that. Mistake number 4. Be careful with stained fillers. You can install your fillers correctly, but the look will be off. And you'll sit there wondering why until it finally hits you. The grain on the door stiles does not match the direction of the grain on the fillers. You have to make sure that the grain is aligned. Maybe you'll like that look, and that's fine, but I'm not going to sit here and condone criminal activity. Mistake 5, cutting fillers before looking at the whole design. This mistake is one of the most tragic, to be honest with you. It hurts me and my bottom line, so learn from my mistakes. You want to look at your whole design before you cut any filler material. You may run into a situation where you need fillers in 3 to 5 different places. If you have an efficient designer, you may have just enough material to finish the install, but that also means if you mess up your math, you could delay the process for at least a few days, if not a few weeks. So let's look at this scenario. You have 6 fillers in a kitchen. 2 of them are 3.5 inches, 2 of them are 3 inches, and 2 of them are 1 inch. Instead of ordering 2 6-inch fillers and 4 3-inch fillers, the designer just orders 3 6-inch fillers because she knows you can get all the cuts from just the 3 fillers. But you're not paying attention to the design. So you cut your 1-inch cuts first, your 3-inch cuts second, and uh-oh, you don't have a filler left for your 3.5-inch cuts. Now you have to order 2 more 6-inch fillers anyway, and it could delay the job not just days, but weeks. Mistake number 6, tossing the overlays all together. It's always sad to see materials get wasted. My wallet is still crying from the last time, but for some reason we've seen installers pick up the habit of throwing materials meant for the install into the trash. I don't know what possesses someone to do this, besides maybe drinking on the job.
Julian!
I'm not mad at anybody for doing it, just severely disappointed. You don't want to be the guy that does an install, thinking that he's done just because he finished putting all his backer fillers on, only to think, why were there so many leftover fillers on the job? And didn't realize that they also needed overlays. Must be a mistake by the designer. I couldn't have possibly forgot anything she told me about this job. I could call her, but I won't. I could take another look at the design. Where'd that thing go? Just don't be that guy. Number 7, damaging the drywall with a missized filler. You can't force fillers when they just don't fit. We see this mistake when we see people scribe fillers. Someone will come in and cut the filler to be scribed to the wall, and it's just a little too big, so they jam it in there. And they'll scratch the drywall just to get it to fit. It's all right if the filler's a little loose. A bead of caulk can easily fix that. But when you damage the drywall, now you have to repair it with the limited space that you have because there's a whole cabinet on the other side making it harder to fix. Unless you feel like uninstalling or reinstalling your cabinets just to fix a piece of drywall because of your own mistake, then be my guest. It's just easier to trim the filler just a little bit more than to get a back charge or have to repair the drywall yourself. Number 8, overlapping 45-degree corners. Listen up, because this is what separates DIYers from professionals. That sounds like a good video idea. Some of you might deal with angled fillers or cabinets that are bumped out. If that's the case, then you need to cut your fillers to a 45-degree angle. Pro tip, use two 22.5-degree cuts instead of a 45 and a 90. It's much cleaner this way. If you look top down, you can see that either way works. But the seam from the 22.5-degree cuts will line up with the corner of your countertop or your crown if it's an upper cabinet. Whereas the janky 45-degree overlapping cut will be offset to one side or the other. Don't just Frankenstein these pieces together because you will create a monster. It's alive! Are you guilty of doing any of these? What other mistakes have you guys seen? It might sound like we're firing off the alarms, but to be completely honest, the only reason we've been able to compile these mistakes is because we've done them ourselves. And worse, had to go back to the job site to fix them. Thanks for watching and keep building.